Oh, yeah, Kyle.
How about
New
that,
year, new week, new look, new money. It's all going down right here at Bookmakers Review. Welcome in. Look at a fresh look here on the Donnie and Kyle Show. And if you guys are watching right now on YouTube, you better hit that subscribe button because every time Kyle and myself go live, look at this setup here that we got going on. The Wizard is cooking up tremendous things behind the scenes. But as always, I'm Donnie RightSide. He's Kyle Purviance. We're the NFL team here at Bookmakers Review. And Kyle, what do you look at the surroundings over here, man?
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Good job to everyone behind the scenes. It's really sort of my first look at it all. I was washing dishes. Thought it was an earlier call. I totally forgot about it. I'm getting old after all. So, but no, it looks great. Happy to be here. I hope everyone had a happy and safe new year. Obviously, you're here with us, so it means you had a good new year. Yesterday was a nice solid day for us with our team totals. Went pretty well. I think the only blemish was the Rams couldn't get there. Hell, we even got the under with the 49ers. So nice day yesterday. Love the new look. Thank you to everyone for joining us. And I mean, week 18. How about that? We got to finish week 17, but week 18 for the first time, we get to talk about it. Pretty damn cool.
Yeah, we got it. Week 18, my goodness. But you can look at it on the bright side of things, Kyle, because they do give us an extra week of football, right? So we should be excited by this because usually week 17, Kyle, let's get the playoff scenarios underway. Or excuse me, the playoffs actually without scenarios because you'd have them here. Now we're still talking about scenarios. It's going to be fun here because this is one of my favorite times of the year. Obviously, College Football National Championship coming up next week. But I love, Kyle, I love playoff football. Most of the teams are already in. My Philadelphia Eagles somehow clinched for Kyle's 49ers, which try to do the math around that. It doesn't make sense, but it is the truth here. Most teams in, we have the Green Bay Packers as the top overall seed, the Tennessee Titans, Kyle, that we're still fighting for right now, that they're going to be the number one seed. Never saw that coming. But I'm excited about a lot of moving parts this week for week 18 for sure.
Yeah, that little three-team tie scenario so there's a scenario where the Eagles lose, the 49ers lose, the Saints lose. The 49ers own the tiebreaker over the 7-seeded Eagles, but would somehow lose the three-team tiebreaker to the Saints, even though the Eagles have the tiebreaker over the Saints. So the Saints would get in and the 49ers would be out. So, I believe the Saints need to win and the 49ers need to lose. And then that three-team tie, I think it's very, very confusing, but bottom line is the Niners need to win. And hey, congratulations, your Eagles get in and we get to fade them. In the wild card round. How about that? That should be a lot of fun fading Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. It's going to be it'll be a Saturday game probably with them. So it'll be a long Saturday for you Eagles fans next week or in 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to giving Donnie some shit for that. But yeah, playoff scenarios and, a lot of stuff's already decided, but there's still, the Tennessee Titans. That's weird, right? Them being the 1 seed, maybe getting Derrick Henry back this week. They could get Derrick Henry back this week.
Like you're talking about, a team that a couple weeks ago, Kyle, I was like, dude, this team isn't even making the playoffs. Talk about a playoff run. They ain't even going to get there. And let alone they're going to be the number one overall seed because when you take a look at it, and we'll search this a little bit down, but it's not as if they got to go into Kansas City to clinch this thing up, Kyle. Like they're playing some low-level competition with the Texans this weekend, but that is what it is. I'm watching you on YouTube now. Ooh, everything looks clean out here. We also got 3,760 subscribers here on the network. We're going to grow this bad boy. So if you guys like what you're watching out here, hit that subscribe button. Let's turn on the gas here and have some fun. And let's flip it over. Why, Kyle? Even though we head into week 18, one more game left in week 17, and that is Monday Night Football.
Yeah, the Browns and the Steelers. I hope the Steelers somehow are still in the playoff hunt. Obviously, Cleveland was eliminated yesterday. So I suppose you could say Pittsburgh has something to play for here. Very, very, very good chance. This has Ben Roethlisberger's last game in front of the Pittsburgh fans. I've been trying to talk myself into does an extra motivated Big Ben really matter to me? Is it going to change the fact that his arm is done, his feet are happy, and they don't do anything? Probably not, right? Is Cleveland going to go into Pittsburgh and want to let them win because they're out of it? No, Cleveland hates Pittsburgh. And I'm sure they would be more than thrilled since they're out to knock their biggest rivals in the division out of the playoffs. I'm kind of looking at some team totals. There's a few props that I like. For as ugly of a game as this is, there's actually quite a few props that I like, and I do like a team total in this as well.
I love it. And see, like Kyle missed the pregame meeting here before we get over and said, hey, guys, make sure you don't talk over the switch around of the, the settings here for Monday Night Football.
Oh.
So I gave my nice pregnant pause. Kyle picked it right up like a professional right there,
There
right through the break. So hopefully you guys heard what he had to say. It was magical stuff. That's what it's live TV. Hey, behind the scenes. Like, can we get the crowd noise here? Can we pump it up? I can't hear it, but I'm hoping that I can hear some crowd noise behind the scenes for, all the excitement here for Monday Night Football. But we'll get it underway. But I am on the same impression as you, Kyle. I'm taking a look at this game right here, and I don't buy it. And what I mean by that is you opened up as a favorite for the Cleveland Browns. Now, hear me out on this, Kyle, because I think this makes sense. You're coming into this week, right? And you're going to say, two teams fighting for playoff position here, but when it comes down to it tonight, only one team technically fighting for playoff position. Now, having said that, it's different than Week 18. Well, as soon as Cleveland know they're out of it, they're not going to play football. They're going to be down and out of it. Not necessarily, and here's why. When you have the entire week, what did they do last week, Kyle? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and half of Sunday. They prepared to go out and play a football game as if they needed this game to get into the playoffs. Now, it turns out as of yesterday, they're not going to the playoffs. But anybody knows, have you ever been in a work environment, or whatever, where you say, you're coming into this week, hey, guys, we need an unbelievably productive week here. You got to get all your P's and Q's together, whatever you work in, the car business, the sales business, whatever it is, because by Friday, Kyle, we got to make sure we have 80 units sold. So everybody put that work in. And you get to late Thursday night, and the boss comes in and goes, hey, guys, awesome production. You got the 80 units. But you know what? We're not even going to have that meeting tomorrow. We're going to push it back another couple weeks. You go, oh, man. That's a deflator right there. But you put in the work to prepare and get ready as if you were playing this game. Now, if this game was the following week, Kyle, like this was week 17 and the season is over, but you have to know it a week ahead of time, what does everybody do in the office, Kyle? Same thing, right? Hey, guys, our sales meeting is in for 2 weeks, and it doesn't matter what you do this weekend. Is anybody going to work? Nobody's going to work. But in the NFL, you put that time in, Kyle. They're going to play football tonight because they are prepared, and I like the Cleveland Browns. I still think the Cleveland Browns should be a favorite in this football game over the Steelers. How about that?
I completely agree. I think this line is completely wrong. I like for me, I'm betting the Browns. I'm betting them on the money line. I think they win this football game, and you're absolutely right. And a team like the Browns, high expectations coming into this year, right? This team was ravaged by injuries and COVID and Odell Beckham and everything else. But this team, especially the good players, the key players on this team, believe that they were good enough to make a run this year. They need to make that statement now to ownership, to the coaching staff, to the general manager. They need to prove, look, when we're all healthy, they're finally healthy. They're getting Kareem Hunt back tonight. They'll have Nick Chubb. Those two haven't been in the same backfield in God knows how long. Baker Mayfield finally getting healthier. They have Jarvis Landry, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Rashard Higgins, Austin Hooper. They have both tight ends. They're finally getting healthy. They need to prove that, hey, if we were healthy all year and we are healthy, we can be one of the better teams in the league. I think they come out tonight, put the Steelers and their fans out of the misery, put Ben Roethlisberger out of his misery, get him out of here. I think his final game in Pittsburgh's a loss. I'm with you. I like Cleveland. I'll tell you what I like more. This will probably be on my Twitter page. I haven't pulled the trigger just yet. Browns team total over 19.5. It's minus 150, a little bit juiced up. I didn't go to the 20.5 because I don't trust those kickers in cold weather, and the Steelers do weird shit going for 2, and that may impact what Cleveland does. But I will be surprised if the Browns don't get to 20 points tonight against a beatable secondary with the Steelers. They've also allowed the 6th most fantasy points to opposing running backs this year. They're not great against the run. I think the Browns here, over 19.5, minus 150 is going to be my play tonight.
And I don't love the Browns per se in this game, but it's the fact of saying, like, now I'm getting points and going against the Steelers here. What if the Steelers show me, like, Big Ben's last game in Pittsburgh, Kyle, they have a chance at the playoffs. Let me do yourself a favor here. Pittsburgh ain't making it to the playoffs here. I honestly believe that. They're not good enough anyway. So if they're getting points at home in a game that they might need, sure, you might step up to the plate and play this. And this is insane. Like, Baker Mayfield stinks as a quarterback. He was horrendous last week, throwing interception after interception. But at the same time here, this game should be a slower paced game here. The 43.5 is a very interesting number for me also, because let's take a look at the way these teams probably would have played the game, Kyle, had it mattered for both of these teams. Lower scoring, hand the football off, don't make mistakes in the fourth quarter. Let's keep it close, see if we can pull out a win either way on either side. Now, if you're the Cleveland Browns and Kevin Stefanski, take a look here, Kyle. If we look here and Kevin Stefanski says, hey, you know what? Normally, if this was a close game, it's 4th and 2 from our own 46-yard line. I'm punting. He's going for it tonight. For what? Why would you? But like, you have all the governors are off tonight for your team, which means 4th and 1s, 4th and 2s, 4th and 3s, going for 2s, goal line stands, trick plays. What does Cleveland have to lose if they lose another football game? Nothing. They're already out. Their only goal tonight is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers and be even more aggressive than what you might be. That's what we're going to lean on. So I actually have a slight lean to the over 43.5. I do like the Cleveland Browns, but if I'm looking right now here at FanDuel Sportsbook, it's 2.5. There's 3s out there. Like if FanDuel gets a 3, I'm just taking a piece of the Browns tonight and playing that +3. There's also a couple prop bets that I do think are interesting as well here. One of the odds boosts here, which had a great day of odds boost yesterday, cleaned up. I went 8-2 overall, almost a 10-0 if it wasn't for 12 yards that I needed a Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. Never got the football back yesterday. It would have been a clean sweep. But I do like this. Steelers and the Browns to each score 1 rushing touchdown and 1 passing touchdown tonight over the 4 quarters. Quarterback gets injured, doesn't matter. Just need 1 touchdown pass. Any running back that you have, doesn't matter who it is. They just have to score. Now, it sounds a lot easier than it actually is. But tonight, if you're on the goal line, Najee's getting the football, Chubb's getting the football, Hunt's getting the football, and each one of these teams should be able to throw at least 1 touchdown pass tonight. I like that prop bet right off the bat. Any other props that you're looking at tonight, Kyle, in this Monday Night Football game?
Yeah, well, there's a prop builder here, a 1-game parlay at BetMGM. It's the Browns money line. Baker Mayfield, 2 or more passing touchdowns, and Baker Mayfield, 220 pass yards. That's at +450. Look, I just mentioned the Steelers, their secondary struggles. They have Trey Norwood filling in for Arthur Male in the slot tonight. That's not good. Jarvis Landry should have a nice advantage there. The defense, this Pittsburgh Steelers defense is not Pittsburgh Steelers defense of old that we've come to know and remember. They are very vulnerable in the pass game and in the run game. Nick Chubb should be able to get going. Again, I mentioned 6 most fantasy points to opposing running backs. What does that do? That opens up the play action passing. It slows down the pass rush of TJ Watt, etc. Baker Mayfield should be able to, 220 yards is nothing against the Steelers. If he throws for 2 touchdowns, the Browns win this game. I like that at +450. When you're just looking at individual player props, I like some of these smaller numbers. Jarvis Landry, over 46.5, -115. I mentioned the advantage he's going to have against Trey Norwood. It's a 48% advantage in the slot tonight. A guy like Austin Hooper, Rashard Higgins, 22.5, 24.5. These are very, very low numbers that I think they can get to tonight. So I'll be looking at those reduced props. I also almost considered, I haven't done this much this year, interceptions thrown. Over 1/2 an interception. Ben Roethlisberger is +100 to throw 1 pick. Ben Roethlisberger's arm is dead. He's going to try to make big plays in his last game. You wonder if he'll get caught up in the moment and try to make a play that maybe he wouldn't try to make earlier in the year since it could be his last game. Ben Roethlisberger, 1 interception, +100. I'll take it.
No, certainly so. And also, again, the Steelers still have something to play for. But it's not as if they're playing for like a top seed where they're a really good football team here. That's not the case. Anytime touchdown scored tonight, Najee Harris listed at 135, Chubb 120, Deontay Johnson +125, Chase Claypool +175, Jarvis Landry +210, and Kareem Hunt listed at +210 in this game. Also, some of the ones I like to dabble in here, which I told you that boost I'm certainly going to be on tonight. But some other interesting ones also, Kyle. One that I haven't seen this one pop up. They're a little bit, shaky on some of these games because there's so many COVID. They don't have as many match specials. Right. But usually on the primetime games they do, which is back tonight. Each team, Kyle, to score 1 touchdown and kick 1 field goal. Seems pretty easy to do. -145. I bet that as high as -220 in the past. That's not a bad one here. The ones that I usually like to load up, which I did yesterday, and actually won. It's been a while on some of these, but it was 1 touchdown pass each for Kyler Murray and Dak Prescott in the first half and the second half. They both got that done. Tonight, it's a very nice price here. Ben Roethlisberger to do that, meaning 1 touchdown in the first half, 1 in the second half, +190. Baker Mayfield to do it is +260. I'm going to lay off that one. I'm also not getting enough of a price here tonight, Kyle, on 1 touchdown to be scored in each quarter. Theoretically, they should get it done, but only a +290 price overall. Yeah. But I have some fun with these match specials to see like what they can. Najee Harris and Nick Chubb to each have 100 yards on the ground, 5-1. There's some fun stuff here, but I usually end it right around that 5-1 or less.
Yeah, I completely agree. There was a few. I saw one. It was let me go back to it here. It was a 1-game special at BetMGM. It was Jarvis Landry over 40 yards. It was really low receiving yards here. And keep in mind, it's not windy. It is cold. Here it is at +625. Chase Claypool 45 yards. Donovan Peoples-Jones 40 yards, and Jarvis Landry 45 yards. I think that's really doable. Those are 3 high pedigree type wide receivers. Yeah. They're going to see plenty of targets. That's a low number for all 3 receivers. I could see that. I could see that happening. And then when you start there's another one too. If you think both Browns running backs can score, Kareem Hunt anytime touchdown, Nick Chubb anytime, and Najee Harris +875. I could see that happening tonight as well.
No, certainly can. And look, there's a little bit of juice to this game still. Again, Steelers need this, and Big Ben's last home game probably here, so everybody's going to be excited. It's up to the Cleveland Browns to get after it early here, and I think they can. Do I like the Cleveland Browns to win the game? Not necessarily do I love it, but at the same time, I have that same feeling for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So again, if you're going to give me 3 points with the Browns, I will take it. This game has look at 43.5, Kyle, 21-20 written all over it, 24-21, so at least ensures you there that you get a push. That's the way I'm reading this game here.
Yeah, I completely agree. And again, I'm not going to mess with the overall totals of the game because I don't know how much I trust Pittsburgh. If I had the gun to my head, I think Cleveland wins this game. I think they're the better football team, but I really like that Browns team total at 19.5. All they got to do is get to 20 points. I'll be surprised if they don't get there. Over 19.5 minus 150. That's an official play for me tonight.
There you go. By the way, real quick update here. Some COVID outbreaks coming out across the NFL, particularly with my Philadelphia Eagles, Fletcher Cox, Dallas Goedert, and Jason Kelsey. Basically, your three best football players got COVID here. But here's the difference, Kyle, right? They probably had it yesterday. Looked pretty good out there in the field, right?
Yeah, it was shocking. And they didn't keel over and die. I'm stunned. I'm stunned. They should probably lock them in a hole and make sure they don't let them out for, it's like the bubonic plague out here. Yeah, of course they had it yesterday. Of course they're fine. Everyone on the field is going to be fine. And that's the beautiful world we live in right now.
That is the beautiful world we live in. Now, Kyle, we're going to try this one again right here as we do a transition. We'll let all the good people out there know because you know what's happening this weekend. Saturday Night Football. Saturday.
Missing those morning meetings, man. You missed those meetings. There you go.
Yeah, look at that. Now we're right back. Now, see that? Look, we were a couple minutes into the show. We got this thing down pat. We are ready to rock and roll with this new format here, as we like to say, on Sportstown at Bookmakers Review. And I believe we're coming to you live. Like, this is our studio. Okay, can you look around? Do you like it in our new studio here?
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
The crowd in front of you right here cheering it on. It's good stuff here. So we're going to get used to the crowd and play the crowd up once we can actually hear the crowd, Kyle. But that will happen sooner than later. We'll have some fun with that. But again, Saturday Night Football in the NFL. And get this here. So let's start with the early game. Kansas City and Denver. Mm-hmm. Look at it. I mean, look at these lines here, Kyle. This is what happens week 17 to week 18 here. Kansas City still with something to play for. Denver out of the playoffs. Look ahead line, Kansas City minus 3.5. Line right now at FanDuel, 10. That's right, 10 with an over-under 44. Now, having said that, Kansas City is going to play for something in this game. That's why they line them up at 425, and they're going to do the same thing here with Tennessee that we'll talk about just a little bit later. You watch Drew Lock play. You watch the Denver, but they absolutely quit. So do I necessarily want to have Kansas City, Kyle, laying double digits going on the road this weekend? Not really. But if I know for a fact that even if they are scoreboard watching, the game is not over by the half, Kyle. And if you're looking at a double-digit cover here, Kansas City will be up a double-digit shot or at least over a touchdown this weekend to cover that 9.5, 10. That's what it's out there. Early in the week, Kyle, I want nothing to do with Denver. They absolutely stink on ice. Vic Fangio should be fired. You got to go out and look for a quarterback. But having said that, I think you get a rebound performance here for Kansas City, knowing that there's still an outside chance they can get that top overall seed if Tennessee slips up. Kansas City first half for me.
Yeah, and it kind of makes it better, right, that Kansas City's playing first on Saturday, so they can't really scoreboard watch the Titans. They can't look up and go, oh, the Titans are beating the crap out of the Texans, so let's just rest Mahomes now. We got no shot at the 1 seed. Let's get ready for next week. So that's good. And they have a team total over 26.5 minus 140. I think makes a lot of sense right now. If the weather holds up in Denver, and it's been surprisingly good for most of December and this winter for us now into January, the weather holds up. This first game here, I think the Chiefs get to 27 points. I'm not going to touch that double-digit spread. Crazier things have happened, and we know the Chiefs aren't great at covering those big spreads. They tend to be a little overvalued. There's no reason to bet anything on the Broncos. Their team total 16.5 plus 100, and I wouldn't touch it with my ex-wife's money, as I like to say. Drew Lock is so absolutely putrid at quarterback. It's tough to watch. The Chiefs getting to 27 points, they could be there by halftime. We saw that Broncos defense absolutely quit yesterday. Over 26.5 minus 140 early in the week. I like that Chiefs team total.
All right. Yeah, we don't have to spend that much time on this game here. And certainly the next one we're going to talk about Saturday night in Philadelphia, which what we thought, Kyle, a few weeks ago was going to be, hey, maybe the Dallas Cowboys have everything locked up, Kyle, and we don't have to worry about anything that goes on here in an easy victory. Well, how about the flip side here? Looks like Dallas is going to play their starters. And why? How about this that just came out? I'm going to go over the list of players that just tested positive for COVID in Philadelphia. Linebacker Jannard Avery, defensive tackle Fletcher Cox, safety Marcus Epps, tight end Dallas Goedert, guard Nate Herbig, running back Jordan Howard, center Jason Kelsey, cornerback Avonte Maddox, safety Rodney McLeod, running back Boston Scott, linebacker Alex Singleton, and Jack Stoll, tight end. So they basically lost, out of those players that are listed there, at least 10 of those are starters. So if you're looking to bet the Philadelphia Eagles because you think they're going to play well and roll into the playoffs, nobody's playing in this football game. Now, again, they're probably going to come back on Friday, which is why they do that heavy testing on Monday. So they'll be fine. But at the same time, are you going to press it all in here? And do you want to take the Dallas Cowboys here, who technically don't have much to play for here? But here's what I would look at as well. The same way, Kyle, we just looked at Kansas City going on the road. If now you're looking at the Dallas Cowboys, opened up as a 3.5-point favorite, didn't know who was going to play. Now we know half the Eagles are actually out here as a -7 favorite. Why not take the Dallas Cowboys in the first half here to be up a touchdown at the half against all backups for the Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I wouldn't. Again, the Cowboys, other than seeding, maybe if they're trying to avoid Arizona, who just beat them in the first round, and they want to maybe move up against Tampa Bay, or if the Rams find a way to lose, maybe they can pass them there. I'm not exactly sure the 100% scenario there. But, I mean, neither one of these teams have much to play for. They're going to be playing wild card weekend. How much are they going to have their foot on the gas? How much are they going to want to show everyone what they're doing? They're going to want to save some things for that wild card round. They don't want a lot of tape week 18, right? So this is one of those divisional games. The NFL had good intentions here where it would be important, but it's simply not. So for me, this would be maybe a live betting spot. I mean, that over under a 42.5, both these teams can score. But again, who's going to be on the field and how much are they really going to put their pedal to the metal? How much are these starters going to play? It's a stay away spot for me right now. I wouldn't touch this game other than live betting it.
Yeah, it's hard to do because a lot of the times, I used to love, and I still do, and I'll see if I can find some ins and outs. But it was a little bit more interesting to see over the past couple of years because you could jump that line on Saturday night. But again, even if you're looking at, because the coaches all lie, and I preface that by saying we're going to Matt LaFleur says right now we're going to play our guys against Detroit. You dummy, you ain't playing anybody against Detroit. Stop trying to play all that coach speak up here by Thursday. You're really going to tell me Aaron Rodgers playing 3 quarters against Detroit here when their goal is to win a Super Bowl and they have a bye week? Absolutely not. You're going to run your 2 best running backs up the middle repeatedly to start away the clock. No, you're not. You're going to throw the ball to Devontae Adams 13 times in that game on the turf in Detroit. No, you're not. So just enough with it. When you come out and say, hey, what are you going to do this weekend? Look, we clinched a bye. I'm not playing like Aaron Rodgers. But no, they are. We're going to play our guys this weekend. Stop the madness. But again, trying to jump lines to see what makes sense, Kyle, right? So you take a look at this and you say to yourself, all right, well, I like the Eagles or the Dallas Cowboys. Well, the Eagles just tested 12 guys positive. Now we say, I'm going to jump the line. Let's see what Dallas, because they're going to play hard, right? Who's to say Dallas doesn't have 12 guys that are going to go right on the COVID list? It's a wild time to bet, man. You can't jump any lines anymore, Kyle.
You just simply can't. I mean, you can if you. It depends on your risk tolerance, and you just bet, and you're going to sit there all week and hope when you see one of those updates come out from Adam Schefter that it's not your guy who's on the COVID list. So there's a lot of risk involved with that. And especially a game like this, that means nothing. Why on earth are you wasting your time doing anything? Sure, watch the game, make it interesting. Live bet this one. Why would you bet either one of these teams before the game when you just don't know what they're going to? Maybe they give their guys a quarter, maybe a quarter and a half, and then they pull them out. You just don't know. So there's no way I'm betting this game pregame. Just won't do it.
It's hard. It's really hard to do because at any given time, and again, you expect 12 guys test positive. They should be back by Friday because that's the way this virus is working. And you get 5 days, then you're back on the field by Friday. But at the same time, you're back on the field by Friday. You play Saturday, and the game means absolutely oogats to the Philadelphia Eagles. It means nothing to them. The Dallas Cowboys may be playing for a little bit of seeding here, but technically doesn't mean much for them. How would you like their playoff seeding? They're going to have to play regardless the next week. So why would you come into this game? What's more important here for the Dallas Cowboys? You just saw Michael Gallup tear his ACL yesterday. So now you're going to say, hey, it's like, and I can hear it now. I can't wait, Kyle. I can't wait because Jerry Jones is usually pretty a sane owner when it comes hey, I'm going to call the shots on this one. But at the same time, can't you see Mike McCarthy taking the microphone we got a game to play. Dak's going to play all 4 quarters. All my guys are going to play. We're a football team. We're going to go to the playoffs hot. And then you lose Dak Prescott. I'm almost waiting for that from Mike McCarthy.
Well, Mike McCarthy's a moron. He's the dumbest coach to ever grace the sideline. So, of course, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Mike McCarthy, Matt LaFleur, 2 complete Poor Aaron Rodgers, just two complete buffoons. This is the same reason Green Bay will probably lose in the playoffs as well, and Dallas will as well. Mike McCarthy will get in their way eventually, whether it's next week or in the playoffs. Mike McCarthy will do something that costs the Cowboys the game. Mark my words, they will not go to the Super Bowl, and it will be because of Mike McCarthy.
Oh man, interesting stuff here. But it is what it is here on Saturday night. It's one of those where the NFL said, all right, we're going to put games on Saturday night that really mean something and get after it. And everything just about broke the opposite way for what the NFL wanted to view. And it said, okay, so we're going to give you two Saturday night games. It's going to be Dallas and Philadelphia. That really doesn't mean anything to either one of them. But then we'll start you off with KC, who we want Kansas City to play because that's why we put Tennessee on Sunday so that they have to play. And they'll play their starters. So you actually get a decent football game there. But it's not going to mean all that much because nothing really is going to get decided by Kansas City winning that game. If they were smart, Kyle, they would have probably went, side by side on a Saturday, put Denver and Kansas City and then the Tennessee Titans going up against the, Houston Texans. And that would have made for a little bit of compelling. Yeah, a little bit more compelling TV. Oh, look at this touchdown here. And the crowd senses it this way. But it'll be a little bit more played out at that point here. But that's a Saturday. And I can't complain, though, right? You get me Saturday football, one at 4 o'clock, one at 8 o'clock. Now, if this really meant something to the Philadelphia Eagles and this was a win and get in for the Eagles, City would be going nuts here because you get it. We played Dallas, you play them at home. But now it's like, I'm trying to sell my tickets to a Dallas Cowboy fan who might want to see their team come into play, and that's how you would deal with it. But Saturday football, it is what it is. Let's flip it over, Wizard. Sunday, NFL football. 2 in a row there, Kyle. You did good. Sunday NFL football. We kick it off and get it ripping and raring here. This game is going to be hard to talk about. Why? Because there's so many implications that are going to come out from tonight's Monday Night Football game and rolling it in over to this weekend. The Steelers and the Ravens. Now, say what you want here about the Ravens. They fought hard. They just don't have enough. Harbaugh is a sensational coach to get that team ready to play so many times over the past couple weeks without their starting quarterback, sometimes without their backup quarterback, without just about everybody in the secondary. And it looked like for a large majority of that game, what, Kyle, 3.5 quarters, they were going to beat the Los Angeles Rams and keep their playoff hopes alive. But alas, nothing. They're going to take on the Steelers here, who after tonight could be out of the playoffs as well. Looking forward to a rivalry type game, but I don't know how much meaning this is even going to have.
Yeah, and you probably won't see Lamar Jackson, right? It would be silly to bring Lamar Jackson back for a meaningless game. So it's going to be Tyler Huntley. And again, will Pittsburgh have something to play for? Let's all hope not, right? Like, good Lord, do we really want to see the Steelers in the playoffs? Nobody does, right? Besides you diehard Steelers fans, that would just be brutal on the eyes. It's tough. We got to see what happens tonight. Of course, we got to see who's on the COVID list later on in the week, see what's going on. It's really tough to cap right now. I will say if Pittsburgh has something to play for and they have all their receivers and they're healthy, when you look at how banged up Baltimore is, it's hard to imagine Baltimore giving away a playoff spot to Pittsburgh. These two teams absolutely hate each other. So they're going to be ready to go. But right now, I'll probably take the points with the Steelers, but I don't love it. That's just an early lean that could absolutely change throughout the week.
Yep, rain in the forecast. Big Ben going on the road in Baltimore. And how crazy is this? Like, what world do we live in now where we had a Week 18 game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens that probably won't mean anything? There's a chance that nothing. These two teams, because you said, Kyle, it doesn't mean anything. Why? Well, Baltimore clinched the division and the number 1 overall seed, and Pittsburgh made it in as a wild card already, right? Isn't that what we expected?
Yeah, it's 100% what we expected, and now it's just, I have a strong feeling it will be meaningless, but, stranger things have happened, and let's just hope we're not watching Pittsburgh try to, stumble their way into the playoffs again. I don't know if I can handle any more Big Ben on my television screen.
And by the way, theoretically, I do read some things here. Like the Ravens are mathematically alive, but
I think they're not.
Like, hey, man,
no, they're.
I just seen an article. The Ravens are mathematically alive still, but they need some ridiculous What do they need? Like every game to be a tie and then to win. So I don't know.
It's something. Yeah, something crazy. I forgot they were still alive. Because it's funny, they're lower in the standings than Miami, who's eliminated, but. Because of some weird thing, they could jump Miami in like a 4-way tie, and then somehow. So they would need the Chargers and the Raiders to tie. I know that for a fact. And still then, how do they get in? See, that's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
How do they?
There's like tiebreakers and then like head-to-heads. And then if you had these head-to-heads, then it's 3 teams that you didn't play and all the strength of schedule. Like so many wild things like add into it where they're still alive, but technically they're aren't still alive. And you know, they're not going to make it in. But
there was one of these years ago where one of those teams who needed like 7 scenarios got it and they got into it was the Eagles. That's right. And they somehow got in. It was the craziest Sunday ever and they somehow made it. So I suppose there's still hope for you Baltimore fans, but very, very, very unlikely.
Yeah, there was like 19 things that needed to happen. One included, I believe it was like a Houston Texans game against the Chicago Bears, where the Texans had a big upset. But the biggest one was, I believe, the Oakland Raiders went in and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a massive dog, I want to say, on that Sunday as well, along with a few other things which happened. Yeah. But that was the Philadelphia Eagles a couple years back here. All right, let's keep it on Sunday here, Kyle. Let's go to the Colts and the Jaguars. The Colts. I can't believe I'm actually pretty stunned they actually lost that game overall to the Vegas Raiders. But credit the Vegas Raiders for going in on the road and winning that and keeping their playoff hopes alive. I do still think Indianapolis is going to get in. Why? They're 15.5-point favorites here against Jacksonville, who's absolutely quit on the season. A 44 total, 15.5-point line. Do I want to take Indianapolis at 15.5? No, I don't. Because this game to me is you have one singular thing here for the Colts. Just go out there and grab a win. It doesn't have to be pretty. You get up 7 points. You say, Jonathan Taylor, I'm going to give you the ball 67 times in this game to run this clock out. But at the same time, what's the ceiling on the Jaguars offense? 10 points, 12 points, maybe 13. The Colts win this game going away. But again, a 15.5-point line on the road. But then again, you saw the Jags. Hey, man, I love the Patriots team total. The damn thing hit in the first half, and they kept pouring it on yesterday, Kyle.
Yes, they did. And you're going to see the same sort of recipe from the Colts, right? Their team total's at 29.5 minus 125, and I think it's live. It might be one that I tweet. I mean, they honestly should get there. All you need to know is the Jaguars under 16.5 is minus 175. I mean, that's all you need to know here. The Jags are absolutely putrid. They have completely quit on this season. Trevor Lawrence has lost. His confidence is absolutely shattered. Colts are going to win this game. Jonathan Taylor is going to run up and down their throats. I mean, he is going to smash this defense. Colts win. I'm not betting 15.5 on the road in the division. I'm not doing it. I don't give a damn what the matchup is. But I'll be taking a long, hard look at that Colts team total.
Yes. Should be interesting here on that game, but I do think they get in, which brings me up to the next team here in the AFC South who has a chance, which this is amazing, to clinch the number 1 overall seed in the AFC, and that's the Tennessee Titans with the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday spilling over and losing a double-digit lead to the Cincinnati Bengals and then hanging on for the loss, I should say there. But now you get Tennessee, who blew the doors off of Miami, and I was wrong in this one. I had a lot of really good plays yesterday that I was talking about, but I thought the Miami Dolphins would be a legitimate chance to go in and beat Tennessee, and they got throttled. They weren't even in the same football stratosphere as the Titans, and impressive performance, and that's Mike Vrabel for you there. Not a high-powered offense. They put up, high 20s there, shut down the Miami Dolphins, and now you're looking at this week. If there's one team, or excuse me, there's 2 teams probably that you would want in the NFL to play in the last week of the season, probably be Houston, probably would be Jacksonville. Both of those teams play in the AFC South, which is why you have the Indianapolis Colts going to trounce Jacksonville, and then you have Tennessee here going up against Houston. I do look at this game. It's a high number at 10.5. I don't think Derrick Henry is going to come back for this game, nor do I think they need him to come back in this game. Rest him up, give him the extra couple weeks, get that first-round bye. But at the same time, Davis Mills at home, competent enough, Kyle, for me to get 14 to 17 points to push this over the 43?
Yeah, and look at that Texans team total over 16.5 plus 100. He is not terrible, right? Like you would say Davis Mills has had a better rookie year than Trevor Lawrence, I think. He's certainly done more things that have impressed me than has Trevor Lawrence, right? Like he hasn't been the worst thing you've seen on the field, and their offense has shown they can move the ball. The Titans certainly don't have a dominant defense. You're right. It'd be surprising if they rushed Derrick Henry back for this. I'm looking at that Titans team total to over 26.5 minus 140. They should be able to get to 17 points here. And I think the Texans can push the issue. I'm with you. I like the over in this game. Again, I'm not betting double-digit spreads in the division here with all this stuff on the line. I'll stay away from that. But I might be looking at plus 100 or more here for the Texans team total over 16.5.
Yeah, one to keep an eye on, because what's the scenarios that we like? All right, Tennessee should be able to move the football against Houston. And again, Houston will be in evaluation mode of Davis Mills. Houston doesn't come into this game, Kyle, and say, let's slow the game down, hand it off 67 times, and see what we can do. No, they're going to let Davis Mills sling the ball around, so good things can happen and bad things can happen. Let's flip it over and keep it in the NFC South here, Kyle, 467, 468, and that is New Orleans and Atlanta here. Take a look at this line, opened up at 3.5 as a favorite for New Orleans, now goes up to 4.5 across the board. I'm not seeing bringing any fives out here just yet, but Atlanta's total, along with New Orleans here, listed at 42 opening number, now down to 40. And I guess when you see these two offenses, you realize why it is. And one of the games where, Kyle, I got to say, capping, watching, and recapping, I spent so little time yesterday on New Orleans because I just don't think they're that big of a factor. But now here New Orleans is a legitimate chance to actually make the playoffs here. I guess if the 49ers get beat by the Rams, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. But looking at this game overall, New Orleans is a better football team. This game is going to be ugly, but do you want to lay 4.5 on the road with New Orleans?
Nah, that's a little too dicey for me. And the Falcons are tough for me. When I think they're just completely dead and they're going to do nothing, they find a way. And New Orleans, on the back end of their defense, is certainly beatable. The front seven, sensational. So Matt Ryan's going to have to throw a ton to win this game. Another one that makes me sick. I think I'm leaning Atlanta here. I really need New Orleans to lose. Do we really want Taysom Hill and this Saints team in the playoffs? I mean, I don't think the 49ers are going anywhere, but they're certainly more exciting, at least in the postseason. I think we can all agree with that. Saints are going to be a boring, quarterback running defensive type team. But look, Falcons struggle against the run. They're not great offensively. It's a division game. 4.5's a lot at home. I'm going to take the road dog here. I'll take the Falcons to cover that 4.5 early in the week.
Ugly football game with the 40. But hey, as we like to say, it is what it is. They still play out the string, so we'll end up capping it here. But again, you want to jump that line 4.5? Oh, hey, Atlanta, Matt Ryan tested positive for COVID. Then it just goes completely out the window. So, but I know we're leaning on that same page here. I do think New Orleans is the better team, but it's an offense that doesn't do anything for me. Like if this game is a tough battle, or let's just say New Orleans gets down 7-0, like, hey, can't cover the 4.5 now because they can't move the football. We'll see how it plays out, but that's my general thoughts as well. 1 o'clock game also here, which we thought might be a bigger game than what it's going to actually be. Why? Because the Cleveland Browns have been eliminated from playoff contention. 473, 474. Cincinnati and Cleveland here. Over under in this game. Opened up at 46. Now sits at 43 at FanDuel, 44 at some other outlets across the board. Also, a favorite for Cleveland, -1, jumps to -3. You say, what the hell's going on here? Why would Cleveland still have a -3 number? Well, let's fast forward to next week. The Cleveland Browns this week, let's just say they win or lose against the Steelers. They're probably going to play a majority of their starters in that final game. Maybe they don't give the ball to Nick Chubb 25 times. Maybe Kareem Hunt's a little bit dialed back in that environment. Maybe Myles Garrett, if he's a little bit banged up, doesn't play all that much, if any. But at the same time, Cincinnati, and I got to tell you something. I'm glad we're talking about this game now. Dak Taylor, if I was the owner, the Brown family's the cheapest ownership in sports, so they wouldn't do this because they only care about money. I think before, let's just say the Cincinnati Bengals, before they went to overtime yesterday, because those 2 fourth-down calls were ridiculous, the stupidest thing I've ever seen and got away with it because of some penalties here. If that didn't happen, I would have came down to the field as the owner, would have told the NFL to stop the game and put on the scoreboard, hey, Zach, you're fired. Assistant coach, whoever it is, take control right now. This is a mockery, and I'm going to investigate you for point shaving and or illegal gambling activities because it's clear you had the Kansas City Chiefs in this game here. Kyle, explain to me, watching that game yesterday, I saw him go for a 4th down, and I'm losing my mind here, sitting here going, what are you doing? And then they get bailed out with the double penalty, so it's a replay of the down, which they got to waste like 8 or 9 seconds. I'm like, whoa, they just bailed this guy out. Now he can kick the field goal, and I look like an idiot. And he went for it again and was bailed out again with a penalty. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
I have never seen something. It's mind-blowing, and I don't know what the hell he was thinking. You're talking about a franchise that is one of the most depressed franchises in history. Their fan base has never really enjoyed success. I mean, we're talking 1989 when Boomer Esiason was the MVP, the Stanford Jennings kick returns, Ickey Woods, James Brooks, sure, those guys. Good team. I mean, that's the last time they really enjoyed any. I know they had, 1 or 2 okay years with Carson Palmer. But my God, what the hell are you thinking? You have the number 1 seed in the conference on the ropes. You've absolutely dominated their defense. You have this game over, and you're trying to send this into overtime? Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, what is wrong with Zach Taylor? And one of the best college football minds I know has repeatedly told me that Zach Taylor is a dumber head coach than Mike McCarthy. And I'll tell you what, he put himself in the discussion yesterday. Now, if we fast forward to next week, the Bengals have nothing to play for. And so we've seen Zach Taylor make bad choices, but can you really risk Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon? Can you really risk them that much in this football game? Absolutely not Now, we don't know what's in their head. Maybe they want to keep these young guys sharp, but I will be surprised if that owner is saying, look, maybe a quarter, maybe a possession, get your wheel spinning. Then it's going to be those backups. So it's hard right now to take the Bengals. The Browns will probably play their starters to go out with a bang. So that's why the Browns are favored, and I sort of agree with it. I lean the Browns right now.
Now here's my thought process, Kyle, which I love, right? I love this out of coaches because you hit the nail right on the head. When I hear a coach say, I want to play my guys because we're a football team and I want to stay sharp. Ask me this question, Kyle. Every team gets a bye week in the NFL. Have you heard any of these football teams go, you know what? You guys aren't leaving on the break. We're going to play an inter-squad game on this Sunday to make sure you guys stay sharp. Exactly. Right? Have you ever heard that happen? Why in a meaningless game for the Cincinnati Bengals would you use some stupid-ass excuse to say, I want to keep my guys fresh, and then you go out and Joe Burrow twists his knee or gets busted up and you go, hey, it could happen at any time. No, it doesn't. It happened in this game because you allowed it to happen. If I can't understand.
Maybe Joe Judge does that inter scrimmage thing. I could see Joe Judge doing it. Honest to God, I could.
You got a good point. Like even he probably even suits up in pads and plays in that inter squad scrimmage over the weekend. But having said that, what do you gain? You won the division. You can't get the number 1 overall seed. Rest is the most important thing you can do because you don't have a bye the next week. Rest your key players. Now, granted, you can't rest everybody. There's a 53-man roster that's active. Yeah. You can't just say, hey, I'm going to bench 22 starters and then hope the next 20 guys are able to play without getting injured because you put everybody on ice that when it can't happen. But you can rest Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, all 3 of the wide receivers, couple cornerbacks, pass rushers, your 2 offensive tackles. Yes, you can do that. But the fact that I love when they say, we got to stay sharp. We're a football team. This is what we do. We play. No, it isn't. You're still going to get paid for this game as a head coach. The players are still going to get paid even if they don't play. Get to the playoffs healthy. That is the goal, Kyle.
I completely agree. And we'll see if Zach Taylor has hopefully the owner talks to him. I don't know if the owner can be bothered. You're right. It is the cheapest organization in all of sports. I mean, when you watch their press conferences, you hear about their facilities. I'll be surprised if they have drinking water or vending machines in that locker room. I mean, they're so cheap. But no, someone needs to get through to Zach Taylor's head and say, if you play Joe Burrow and he gets hurt, you will never coach in this league again. I will give you the worst recommendation you have ever seen. Let's hope Zach Taylor doesn't mess this up because the Bengals are a lot of fun to watch. I love watching that passing attack.
No, it is good here. And by the way, you bring up some funny times about owners, and this goes right into your neck of the woods with the 49ers. I'll never forget when Eddie DeBartolo was forced out of the 49ers where basically you saw how he ran the team. It's look, I don't care about a profit, man. I want to win. I want to treat these players with class. That's why everybody wanted to be a 49er back in the day. And they sold the football team. And I believe it was Dana Stubblefield, I want to say, who went over to the Gatorade machine in the offseason and tried to open it, and it wouldn't open. It said something like there's $1 or $2 if you want to buy a Gatorade and stuff like that. It's like, man, I can't believe what just happened here. But it's so crazy how some ownership groups Mark Cuban in the NBA, who I don't really care about as an owner, but I'm pretty sure if any player on the team goes, hey, Mark, can you drop another $150,000 on seats for the plane? Be like, tomorrow, it's done deal. Thank you for that. When other owners hey, man, you're going to fly commercial and stay in bad hotels because I'm not paying for it. But they're always interesting when I hear because Brown is one of those guys where you hear about in the past, the smallest scout group in the NFL. Basically, his whole family's in the front office, so he doesn't have to pay anybody outside the family. The scouts come off the road in the past couple of years, mid-season, because they didn't want to pay anywhere hotel bills and travel arrangements. It's so wild. Right when you're an NFL team operated like that.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. I miss those days of Eddie DeBartolo and Carmen Policy. And it might be too soon to talk about Dana Stubblefield because I'm pretty sure he's a monster now. So I don't know if we can talk about him anymore.
Oh, boy. Yeah, well, maybe that sent him over the edge, God.
That was it. That's what sent him over the edge.
Exactly.
That was the Vontaze Burfict to Antonio Brown right there. There it was.
Absolutely here. Let's keep moving here on Sunday because we got a pretty big game here that we're going to talk about, and that is the 49ers and the Rams. And I got to tell you, I sort of feel bad, Kyle, for the 49ers here because this was supposed to be a game for them. First of all, they shouldn't even be in this spot to me. They should have already had this bad boy wrapped up. If Jimmy Garoppolo goes to the bench and says, Mr. Shanahan, I think my thumb blew up out there in the huddle, but being selfish as a player, which most people would be this selfish as well, he knows that if he said that and Trey Lance came in, Trey Lance would have won that football game. They would have beat the Titans. They'd already be in the playoffs. But he didn't want to lose his job, so therefore put you behind the 8 ball. Now, also, the Rams in this scenario, if you never had them coming down the stretch here, like with Arizona picking up a win yesterday and they would already have things clinched up, you would have an easy victory because they wouldn't play their starters. But now they're saying, okay, we want to win a division championship, and that's why you see the line here as a favorite for the Rams at 6 and 5.5, when you probably would have saw this closer to a pick 'em or maybe even the 49ers favored because it would have been no Rams in this game, no Stafford, no Cooper Kupp, and you would have had a walkthrough. Now San Francisco's going to fight for their life just just to get into the playoffs, which I didn't see that coming here. That's a shame.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. The goddamn Cowboys just can't get it done. All the Cowboys needed to do was win that game, and my Niners are going to win this game and stroll into the playoffs. And now, God, we've got the Saints playing the Falcons. I mean, that feels like a win. And now you've got to beat a Rams going at full strength. The Rams want a home. Every team would want a home playoff game in the first round as opposed to going on the road. So, of course, this is going to, especially if there's the prospect of having to go into Philadelphia with bad weather, right, in January as the 2 seed. So, look, Kyle Shanahan has had Sean McVay's number. He knows how to scheme against this team. He knows how to beat this team. It's going to be Trey Lance. It makes me really nervous. I do think this is a close game. I don't think the Rams blow them out. I'll take the 49ers with the points. Do I think they're going to win? God, I hope so. But right now, it's really hard to take a rookie quarterback making his fourth start against a motivated team as talented as the Rams. Now, I will say Matthew Stafford seems to have regressed a little bit. A lot of mistakes by Matthew Stafford. If he doesn't clean that up, the 49ers win this game, and they're going to be a quick out in the first round. But right now, as we sit, the Rams win this game, but I think it's closer than those points are. It's a little disrespectful. 49ers plus 5.5. I'll take the points.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one to watch. But I think Lance will keep them in it, so to speak. But at the end of the day, you're asking such a tall task for a kid that, he's athletic. But you know who's athletic? That defensive line here for for the Rams is really athletic, as you saw yesterday at that point. But it is what it is. They put themselves in this spot. Now they got to win a football game against a really good team just to try to make it into the playoffs unless, Atlanta can step up to the plate here. Now, good one. Sunday Night Football. The NFL got this one right here. Chargers and the Raiders. Winner is going to go into the playoffs here. The Chargers opened up as a 2.5-point favorite, Kyle. Now they sit at 3 across the board, and I do agree with that. Over under at 48.5. And even though looking at the Vegas Raiders, it looks like Waller got activated, I'm going to say today, which is key for their game this weekend. That means that, hey, Hunter Renfrow doesn't have to do it all with Zay Jones on the outside and sort of piecemeal together a game plan. Now you're going to be able to open up the middle of the field. And the Chargers, as you say, look, the defense isn't very good per se, but they do have some playmakers over there. But the offense, when it's in gear and it's healthy, like you saw yesterday, no COVID worries about Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen on the outside, Herbert at quarterback. They are really good. I'm actually leaning towards earlier in the week. Now, this is tough because this isn't just a normal game. You're coming into this game going, we want to win at all costs here. So sometimes you get a little bit downgrade of offensive play because you're not opening up the playbook. But then again, you take a look at Brandon Staley. This guy will go for 4th and 3 on his own 30-yard line. So I immediately start looking at the over in this game.
Yeah, I like the over, and I like the Chargers. Look, we saw yesterday they finally were able to stop the run. It's the most effective that I can remember all season long seeing them stop the run. Of course, I got to rewatch the entire game, but they were able to stop a good rushing attack for the Broncos. Reason being, they didn't have to really respect the pass game with Drew Lock, did they? You're going to have to respect that a little more. Darren Waller is certainly going to occupy more of Derwin James's attention, meaning he's not going to be able to help as much in the run game. If Josh Jacobs gets going, it's going to be a long day for the Chargers. But I think that offense is too good. Still not enough weapons for me on that Raiders side of the ball, even with Darren Waller back. It's still a really depleted wide receiving core. That Chargers secondary is not terrible. I think the Chargers get this done. They win. It's a winner go home. It's a playoff game, essentially. Winner gets in, loser goes home. I think the Chargers get it done. They're the better team. The line's about right, but I could see them covering that. I'll be looking at team totals for this. But right now, as we said, I do think both teams score. Over 48.5 makes a lot of sense. Controlled environment as well in the Dome in Las Vegas.
There you go. And also keep in mind the Chargers should already be in the playoffs, man. You can't lose to Houston. I don't care who's on COVID. You can't lose to the Houston Texans, which they did here. But that's the NFL slate here for Week 17. Why? Because you have one Monday Night Football game, and then you tip it over into Week 18. It'll be interesting to see where these lines go on and off. And each and every day, keep it in tune here. Both myself at RightSide VP, at DFS Bachelor. Anything pops up that we're firing on, we always like to share with the people. You guys got it right away. The minute I fired on a team total here for the New England Patriots, you got it there. Told you, how about yesterday, Kyle? Already had the Montgomery pick in. You watch the show. What did we leave off yesterday? Deebo Samuel is scoring a touchdown. I don't care what happens in a low-scoring game. You know who scored? Deebo Samuel. So if we got some good stuff for the people out there, we are certainly going to share that information. But now, we have a championship game to talk about, Kyle. What is that? The College Football Championship. 3 for 3 right there. See that, Kyle?
There we go. I almost blew it and said, are we talking Montana State, North Dakota State on January 10th?
There it is. It might as well be that, but here we go. Good. Now, I want to preface this by saying, I love the people that say stuff like, oh, man, here it is again, SEC in the final and SEC this. I like to see the best teams play each other. The two best teams are playing each other. Is that what the design of the college football playoff is, and getting to the end of the year with the two best teams? Well, you got both of them here. And yes, it is a rematch of the SEC championship game, which the Alabama Crimson Tide rolled. But I got to say, Kyle, I like Georgia in this game. I do. I like Georgia in this game. And they're laying points here, -3s across the board. And I agree with it.
I don't know. Look, I don't know if I can trust Georgia against big games against SEC opponents anymore. I try. I thought they'd get it done against Alabama the first time. That secondary, that defense to me is not as good as advertised. It was an impressive win over Michigan. They were very good. But this Alabama, Bryce Young is going to come in there and pick that secondary apart. I think Alabama wins this game. I think the quarterback advantage is in Alabama's favor. I certainly like the running back Robinson when he gets going. God, he's a beast. He looks like a little Derrick Henry coming out of Alabama again. But I like this over 52.5. I think there's points scored. I don't see Georgia's defense stopping that passing attack. Georgia's going to have to ramp it up to keep up with Alabama. I think the over 52.5 is a little low. I think they go over that. And until I'm proven otherwise, I cannot take Georgia in a big game against Alabama. When's the last time they beat Alabama in a big spot? I can't remember. For me, it's Alabama or nothing. I think the Heisman Trophy winner Bryce Young gets it done and Alabama wins this game.
I think you're onto something here with the total, because you take a look at the last time that Alabama played Georgia, they hung 421 up here. You also take a look at the last time that Georgia played Alabama, they threw for 340. These two offenses should be able to get into it in a controlled environment, playing in Indianapolis for this game. So I do look towards the over, but I got to tell you, I don't know why, I am still leaning towards the Georgia Bulldogs in this game after seeing Nick Saban shellac that Georgia team and hammer them by 17 points, close to 3 touchdowns in the past. It'll be fun to watch, but it's going to be a good one next Monday night. We don't have Monday Night Football next week. Technically, we do with a championship game. And then the week after that, Kyle, you know what we get? Another Monday Night Football game, because it's in the NFL and it is in the playoffs. But I'm looking forward to this college football game, winding it up and crowning a football champion. Amazing. I'm going to watch this game on Monday night next week. I'm going to say, man, how fast did this football season go? Then we're going to watch playoffs. And pretty soon, Kyle, on this show, the Donnie and Kyle Show, when we do a Super Bowl wrap-up, oh my goodness, Kyle, what are we going to do? What are we going to do with ourselves? We were just opening up. I was looking on this, this monitor behind me, and I do have pictures up from the opening game, Tampa Bay and Dallas. Yeah. Where did the time go?
It's crazy. It's crazy how fast it's gone, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a damn vacation. I'm probably going to go to Hawaii, because we have been going hard since April 1. So I'll be ready for a nice little vacation. And then before you know it, our ugly faces will be talking baseball. Yeah, there we go. Back to baseball.
By the way, guys, Daily College Basketball Show with Kyle Purviance and Kyle Purviance only here. So get ready here. We like to call it Sports Down here, and I love the new environment that we're in. We're going to also include a lot more of the chat box in, because once we can actually hear what's going on behind the scenes, we'll be able to play off and have a lot of fun. But it's a Donnie and Kyle Show. We're in a new atmosphere, as we like to call it here. Continue to bring the same pain, the same games, and the same winners that you guys are accustomed to right here at Bookmakers Review. So again, if you are watching, the first time you're watching, the second time, the third time, the 100th time, and you forgot to hit that subscribe button down there, turn that red subscribe button into gray subscribed and turn that notification bell on, because when we go live, you get it directly delivered to your inbox here. All the winners that you can handle, including a Monday Night Football game tonight. If the Cleveland Browns get the 3 at the FanDuel Sportsbook, I will be participating in that game as a straight wager. But also keep in mind, I do like a couple props. And as always, you guys know me. Follow us on Twitter here. Put something out tonight that we think is worthwhile of you playing. It'll certainly be out there, Kyle. But I'm looking forward to the Monday night game tonight.
Yep, me too. And if you don't have Twitter, you're not going to look on Twitter, I'm going to have Cleveland team total over 19.5 -150 up there, and probably a prop or two. I like that little 3 build with Mayfield, the Browns, and the 220 yards passing. I'll probably have that up there as well.
All right, that'll do it for the Donnie and Kyle Show here on a Monday. Thank you guys for tuning in to the New Look Show. And as always, good luck on those wagers.